The man is reading a book. I'm really struggling here. Hey y'all, long-time lurker, first-time poster. I really don't know what I'm getting out of writing this. I just need to get it off my chest. We're both chicks, BTW. I don't even know where to begin. My girlfriend and I have been together for 7 years, and sadly, they haven't all been great. The beginning of the relationship was amazing, and our first 2 years together was so smooth. Something happened with my living situation, and I ended up moving in with her right before we hit our 3-year. Of course, there were learning curves and adjustments for living with each other, but for the most part, we were good. Or so I thought. Apparently, she started building animosity towards me, but never really let it show, so I thought everything was okay. Shit hits the fan, and she finally lets me know exactly how she feels and how she wasn't ready to be a live-in situation, but she felt bad for what I had going on at the time. That shit hurt, but hey, if that's how she feels, then that's how she feels. I admit that I was working through some past traumas, not realizing what was going on. Definitely wasn't self-aware of my baggage. I've been doing inner work for 3 years, so I was short-tempered and didn't really listen to understand, but listen to respond. We always seemed to work through our problems until I lost my shit one day and slapped a hole in the wall and scared the shit out of her. I immediately realized my fuck up and fixed the physical damage and started on repairing the emotional and mental damage I caused by letting my emotions get the better of me. To be honest, that's probably when I lost her. Things just started to spiral, and we got stuck in a 6-month rut and cycle of being really good to arguing all the time. There was such a divide that we didn't have sex for 2 years. So at this point, we've been together for 4.5 years. And I did everything I could to get her to let me fuck her, because she's never tried to please me or focus on my pleasure. To no avail, so I literally gave the duck up. We turned into roommates, barely even talking outside of bills and small talk. That was the first time I discovered she was still in communication with one of her exes, let's call him M. She claimed there was nothing going on between them and he was better off her friend than her lover, so I shouldn't be worried, right? Lemma foul? Well, I chose to believe and trust her because I'm stupid. In 2020, right before COVID hit, I was working for the devil himself, Amazon, ! And ended up getting really hurt delivering packages and ended up with permanent damage to my spine, hip, and ass bone, along with nerve damage and compressed discs. This fucked everything up, but it brought us closer. Haha. Yeah, I was so wrong. She helped take care of me to a certain extent, but never took me to my appointments or emergency room when I needed it. I always had to depend on my dad or sister because at that point, I couldn't drive due to pain. That pain started to change my personality, and I became very short-tempered and irritable the majority of the time. I had no relief from the injuries, and I was only sleeping maybe an hour a night, so I got really nasty. I pretty much became a hermit with an attitude, and that took a toll on our relationship. She started staying out later, even though the lockdown was going on, but she claimed it was due to work. I tried to be as understanding and as trusting as I could be, so I never accused her of doing anything. I just asked her why it takes so long to close a little cafe down. She would always get an attitude and tell me she was either short-staffed or some other excuse. I had no proof of anything, so I accepted what she told me. A year later, in 2021, I was able to move us out of that dingy-ass apartment and get us a really nice house 7 minutes away from her job. I literally picked the house for convenience and accessibility to her so she didn't have to get up so early, get home so late, with the added bonus that now we're in a really good part of our city. At that point, I had started to do some self-reflection, and I realized that a lot of my problems stem from how I was treated as a child and my upbringing. I didn't realize the only parent I had was a verbally and mentally abusive asshole whose bad traits I learned. As soon as I realized those things, I started distancing myself from my dad and his family, and it actually really started to help my relationship. Yeah, we would argue, but it wouldn't be as bad as it was in the past, so I thought progress was being made. Then things started to backslide, and we both fell back into old habits. I recognized this and decided to do even more work on myself so things like that wouldn't happen. But at that point, she had cut me off emotionally, mentally, and physically. She stonewalled the shit out of me and turned me into an acquaintance. It got so bad I was literally begging her for the simplest of things like affection and conversation. And she would look me dead in my eyes and tell me I was asking for too much and she couldn't give me what I needed. But she didn't want to break up, so imagine how confusing all of that is. I begged and begged and begged to the point where I just decided to stop giving what I wasn't receiving. And instead of her realizing what was happening, she cheated on me. But I didn't know it at the time. Things got weird, but I was still really fighting for what I thought our relationship could have been, so I booked us a week trip out to San Diego. We had such an amazing time that we ended up staying an extra week, but during that time, she let me have sex with her once and then shut me down the rest of the time. It's not like I was expecting anything, but goddamn, I planned the entire trip to the point where she didn't have to think about anything except what type of weed she wanted and what she wanted to eat that day. But apparently that wasn't enough to have intimate moments while on a vacation trying to rekindle a dying flame. Regardless of the lack of intimate sexual intimacy, we really did have a good time and did not argue a single moment we were there. The entire month of May, I thought we were good. And in June, I started to have to beg her for attention again. Fast forward to the end of July 2023, and we have the biggest blowout argument we've ever had, to the point where she leaves for a night to go stay with her parents, or so she says. Shit is rocky for the next rest of the summer, but by the middle of September, we decided that we would give it one more try and really make an effort this time. We decided we would accept the growth that I thought both of us were making and not do the you always, you never statements because they're counterproductive. So once again, I thought everything was good. She takes me to the state fair for my birthday in October, and we plan on holiday festivities and get-togethers for her family's birthday since there's so many of them during the holiday season. Well, Thanksgiving comes and goes, and something had been nagging at me for a few weeks, but I ignored my intuition because everything was going well and I didn't think I had anything to worry about. I snooped through her phone because I couldn't ignore the feeling anymore, and boy did I see some shit. D-Day was 2 days after Thanksgiving, and I found out she was in a full-blown relationship with a moon-faced man we'll call CK, who literally looks like he showers once a month. I hate that I couldn't go through all the messages on Facebook because my emotions got the better of me, and this bitch deleted, aka secure foldered, the entire thread, so now I only have an idea of what was happening, and I've had to fill in the blanks with everything else. Instead of showing remorse, she ran straight to CK and continued to fuck with him for several days while giving me absolutely nothing. I really don't know why we're still together because she hasn't given me anything that I told her I needed for us to move on. She's literally just swept it under the rug and pretends that me being too emotional is too much for her to handle, so that's why she refuses to tell me anything or talk about the situation she put us in. The way it feels and what I think is this was way more than an emotional affair because it started right after we came back from Cali, and if I didn't go snooping, she'd still think that I wouldn't know anything. But for whatever reason, we're still together, and it seemed like we were making real progress with each other. He shares a lot more and is way more open with me. He was spending less time alone and more time with me, amongst other things. So I thought we were headed in the right direction. I made a statement about how my animals were my life, and she has the audacity to look me in my eyes and tell me, "You're my life, you mean so much to me, and I love you more than you could imagine." Just thinking about how fucking pissed off that made me. But I couldn't show it because it would have caused an issue between us, and I just don't have it in me to argue anymore. So I smiled, asked her not to say that again, and moved on. Since that point, she has been acting really fucking weird. Which brings me to the middle of January 2024. I start to let my insecurities get the better of me, and I become hyper-vigilant and aware of everything. We get into an argument, and she ends up giving me her phone because I told her I didn't trust her and thought she was still fucking with CK. Well, there's no messages to him on Facebook, so I decided to go to Instagram. And what do I see other than M in her DMs? And the messages go all the way back to 2019. In 2020, during peak pandemic, this old man shoots her a message and tells her to come smoke. And I have no idea if she responded or if she went to see him because she's sneaky and continued the message through texting instead of Instagram. Not only do I find that she's still in communication with M, I see that an old fuck buddy of hers from high school is contacting her, and their conversation goes back to 2022. We'll call this one EW, and this fucker is sending her messages calling her my love, wifey, baby, and other shit, and telling her that he fucking loves the type of relationship they have where they can just talk to each other and be friends, or get married if she would marry him because he's always loved her. She doesn't really say anything other than that's sweet, but she never once mentioned that she was in a committed monogamous relationship for multiple years, and she didn't mention that she was in the relationship with the woman.
I lose my shit and blow up on her, and she does nothing but pretend like the stress is too much and just goes silent and cries. That's what she does a lot, and it got to the point where I literally have to apologize in order to get things to go back to normal. That's an apology to her, even if she's the one that hurt my feelings, because my feelings being hurt causes her pain and her feelings to be hurt even worse than how she hurt mine. It's actually quite pathetic when I type it out. I'm in love with a person who clearly doesn't give a single fuck about me. It's a few days after Valentine's Day, and I start getting a weird feeling like I need to go through her phone or check up on her when she's outside by herself. I hate that feeling, and at this point, she's gonna do what she wants to do, because she always has. So I thought I'd let it go, but apparently not. It's 2:30 in the morning, and I see her thumbs moving at a crazy fast pace, which makes me go, I continue to watch her and see that she's talking to someone and she's constantly flipping back and forth from video to message. So I make a mental note of it and go on about my business.